Remember how Scarlet Witch and Vision fell madly in love with each other? Well, what if I were to tell you that their love was a lie thanks to this guy called Wonder Man? Who is Wonder Man, you might ask? Well, he originally started out as a villain to the Avengers, then he died, then he came back to life and became an Avenger, and not only that, but of all things, he decided to become a famous actor. So yeah, this guy's history is pretty complicated. In this video, I'm gonna go over Wonder Man as a character, his comic book history, and before you know it, you'll be ready for Marvel's Wonder Man Disney Plus series. But before we move on, please be sure to give a like and subscribe to Reverb Comics. You don't want to miss out on our awesome content. Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, made his first appearance in Avengers number 9 in 1964. Simon Williams started out as the heir to a wealthy industrialist, but his company failed and went bankrupt, which he blamed on competition from Stark Industries. This left him vulnerable to get manipulated by Baron Zemo and the Masters of Evil. Zemo later sends him to infiltrate and betray the Avengers. At first, Simon went along with Zemo's plans because his company's bankruptcy lost him everything and he blamed his downfall on Tony Stark. However, when he started working with the Avengers, he started to feel guilty. Despite being a newcomer, the Avengers welcomed Simon and treated him like a hero. This kindness contrasted sharply with the manipulation and cruelty of Zemo and the Masters of Evil. As the Avengers continued to treat him as an ally, Simon developed genuine guilt about the betrayal he was supposed to carry out. Eventually, he realized he couldn't go through with Zemo's plan as it would mean hurting the people who genuinely believed in him. After being moved by the Avengers' sincerity, courage, and compassion, Simon warned the Avengers about the ambush he was leading them into. Hence, he turned against Zemo and fought alongside the Avengers to fight the Masters of Evil. Unfortunately for Simon, he ended up dying for siding with the Avengers. You see, Simon's powers were unstable. After Zemo's experiment, Simon's life depended on regular doses of Zemo's serum to stay alive, which Zemo of course uses leverage on Simon. Without the serum, Simon died from the unstable effects of his powers. Now, of course, this is comics, so nobody stays dead for too long. But something interesting happened when he died. After his death, Simon's brain patterns were preserved by Hank Pym and Ultron. Cause why not? I guess they really miss Simon. His brainwave patterns were later used to create the personality of Vision. Cause in the comics, it was Hank Pym who created Ultron and Vision, not Tony Stark. So in a strange way, when Simon came back to life, he had a lasting connection with the Vision. Since they had the exact same personality, they were like brothers in their weird sci-fi way. Out of all the comic book characters that I came across, he had the strangest resurrection. At first, Kang the Conqueror brings him back to life in the Avengers issue number 131, but then he dies again. And then Simon was revived again in Avengers issue number 152 in 1976 by the voodoo priest villain who tried to bring him back as a zombie. And then he died again and the living laser brought him back to life. His last resurrection fully revived him as this ionic-based superhuman instead of just being a strong human. Since his new body is now sustained by ionic energy, this made him incredibly durable and harder to kill. When he came back to life, he found himself in an odd love triangle with the Scarlet Witch and Vision. You see, when Wonder Man was dead, Scarlet Witch and Vision fell in love and got married in Giant Size Avengers issue number 4 in 1975. When Vision learns that his personality is based off of Simon's, this causes a massive identity crisis. Vision has Simon's mind, but not his emotions. Hence, when Simon came back to life, he struggled with his own feelings for Wanda. Eventually, Vision is dismantled and rebuilt in the comics, but when he's reassembled, he's the emotionless white Vision, lacking his original personality. In the Vision Quest storyline, Vision gets kidnapped and dismantled by a group of international governments, including a US agency, who fear that he might become a global threat. The government-sanctioned team used advanced stealth and teleportation technology to abduct Vision while he was sleeping with the Scarlet Witch. These agencies were alarmed by Vision's recent takeover of world computer systems, completely controlling global communications, fearing he might become a global threat like Ultron. Eventually, the West Coast Avengers locate and retrieve Vision's dismembered body, but when Hank Pym starts to rebuild him, Wonder Man does not consent to reuse his brain patterns. Hence, the new White Vision is rebuilt as a blank, emotionless version of his former self, devoid of all the previous feelings he had for Scarlet Witch. And this, of course, devastates Wanda. But lucky for her, someone with the exact same personality is nearby. Wanda and Simon begin to grow closer and they develop real romantic feelings for one another. Throughout the years, Wanda and Simon became romantically involved with each other. Simon is hesitant at first because he knows Vision once loved Wanda with his brain patterns, and he always wondered if Wanda actually loves him or the man she knew in Vision. Despite the emotional complexity, they do become a couple in certain storylines, especially post House of M and during Uncanny Avengers. Wanda always finds comfort in Simon, but there's always a lingering sense of confusion and unresolved feelings. Later on in the comics, Vision did end up regaining some emotional depth, but unfortunately he acknowledges that his relationship with Wanda is over. When he got his emotions back, he becomes more autonomous, independent, and built his own identity separate from Wonder Man. He even built his own family in Tom King's Vision series in 2015. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, this has to be one of the most interesting love triangles in all of comics. After all, it explores deep themes like what makes a person themselves. Since Vision has Wonder Man's personality when he married Wanda, did Wanda actually fall in love with Vision? Or did she fall in love with a copy of Wonder Man? And what exactly made Vision real to Scarlet Witch? Was it his memories, his emotions, or was it his soul? Or was it simply because he had Wonder Man's brain patterns? And could Wonder Man ever have genuine love for Scarlet Witch? Even though Wonder Man genuinely cares for her, he's always left questioning whether or not she loves him or if he's just filling a void that Vision left her with. This love triangle left Wonder Man with an identity crisis and existential angst. Since Vision was once a copy of him, it made him question his sense of self. Oddly enough, this led him to pursue a career in acting. Who knows, maybe playing different roles helped him gain a new sense of self. He starts to reinvent himself as a stuntman and actor in LA, appearing in a number of B movies and action films. His super strength and invulnerability makes him ideal for stunts without needing stunt doubles. In the West Coast Avengers run, he balances his dual careers as both a full-time Avenger and a working actor. When he embraced the fame, he became more flamboyant and ego-driven with a love for the spotlight. His career in Hollywood did cause him some internal conflict. He often wanted to be taken seriously as a hero as opposed to being a shallow celebrity. Writers often use Simon's acting career to satirize Hollywood, portraying it as shallow, chaotic, or just plain absurd. In some stories, Simon is a stand-in for the perils of celebrity culture, including fake friendships, vanity, and the media circus. When the West Coast Avengers disbanded, he became the founding member of the superhero team ForceWorks. But of course, Wonder Man dies in an explosion against Kree aliens. As you'd expect, he gets brought back to life by none other than Scarlet Witch. During the Civil War storyline, he gets blackmailed by S.H.I.E.L.D. to work for Iron Man's pro-registration side. When he was an actor, he started a non-profit and got charged with misappropriation of funds. Not only does he capture renegade vigilantes and criminals, but he's also instrumental in creating televised messages to educate the public and unregistered superhumans about the specifics of the Registration Act. After Civil War, he starts dating Ms. Marvel and joins the Mighty Avengers. During the Dark Reign storyline, Norman Osborn retires Simon as an Avenger. He basically sidelines him when he creates his new team of Avengers. During the Heroic Age storyline, Wonder Man gets a pretty interesting story arc. Steve Rogers tries to recruit Wonder Man, but Simon refuses, stating that the Avengers cause more harm than good. Thor and Iron Man try to reason with him. Tony explains that all heroes know the risk of the job, but Simon is not convinced. When Tony departs, he notes that Simon is leaking ionic energy, suggesting that his powers are causing a mental breakdown. Next thing you know, Wonder Man puts together the Avengers, a team of superpowered people to stop the Avengers. As he attacks the new Avengers, he makes some pretty good points. He blames the Avengers for Ultron's existence, the collateral damage caused by Scarlet Witch and the Hulk, the Civil War, and Osborn's Dark Avengers team. His Revengers team actually does a pretty good job of defeating the new Avengers at Avengers Mansion. Despite how the new Avengers bounced back and Wonder Man had to retreat, Simon did a pretty good job of spreading doubt among the population about the merits of the Avengers as a concept. After some time passes, Simon regains his sense of self again and earns his trust back with the Avengers. He redeems himself by beating the Red Hulk and helping save Wasp from the Microverse. Ever since, Wonder Man has been helping out the Avengers. So yeah, there you have it, folks. This is the simplest way I can explain Wonder Man's complicated comic book history. For a guy who's not even a main Avenger, I find it pretty impressive that he came back to life at least 4 times. I was really surprised when I found out that Marvel and Disney already finished shooting the Disney Plus Wonder Man series in April 2024. I honestly had no idea that the series was in production at that point. Based on the footage, it seems like this series will focus on his acting career. The OG Avengers actors are pretty expensive, so I doubt we'll see this version of Wonder Man go up against the Avengers. Also, the Vision Quest storyline was already adapted in the WandaVision TV show, so I doubt we'll get to see that storyline in the Wonder Man series. I would have loved to see that love triangle between Wonder Man, Vision, and Scarlet Witch, but I doubt we'll see it since Scarlet Witch is technically dead from the events of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Even though something tells me that Scarlet Witch will come back in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, I'm skeptical about her showing up in the Wonder Man TV show. And it'll be interesting to see how he gets his powers in the MCU. As we all know from the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, Zemo gets captured by the Dora Milaje and gets imprisoned at the raft. So I guess Zemo will not give him his powers in the MCU. Despite all this, I'm still pretty interested to see what will happen in this Wonder Man series. It'll be interesting to see how a struggling actor will turn into the legendary superhero known as Wonder Man. But what do you think? Was there anything that I missed? What do you think will happen in this new Wonder Man show? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, thanks a million for watching. Please be sure to give a like and subscribe to Reverb Comics so that you won't miss out on our awesome content. Stay groovy.